Yo, what's poppin'? I am super excited because I just pulled up to the lake. It's bright and early in the morning and I'm gonna catch some bass, hopefully on a jerkbait. Now, if you remember, not too long ago, I did a beginner jerkbait tips video and I promised you that I was gonna follow it up with an on the water video. That's really the goal today. I wanna catch fish on a jerkbait and I wanna give some tips along the way. But hey, if the fish don't wanna eat a jerkbait, I've got some other stuff with me as well. Regardless, the big plan, I wanna take out the new kayak and catch some bass. Let's go. Let's party. It's time to party. I was smart today. I wore my muck boots. Now I can just do one of these maneuvers. All right. Before we get started, I wanted to show you I've got two jerkbaits rigged up. I've got this one, it's a deeper diving shad pattern, and then I've got this one, it's a shallower diving sunfish pattern. I'm definitely gonna mix it up a little bit, figure out what they like, and then we'll go from there. I'm staying close to the ramp because my friends are on their way, but I tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and start fishing. Cast it out there, reel it down, twitch it a couple times, just get it down to the depth. And then you just jerk, pause. And you just wait and you keep that line. You want like a semi-slack line, so that way when you go to jerk it again, it has that room to kind of give it the right motion. If you have it too tight, you're gonna pull the jerkbait a little bit and that's actually gonna turn those bass off from it. But if you have too much slack, then you're probably gonna miss a lot of fish when they actually go to bite it. Oh, there's my guy Dave. Shout out to Dave, West Michigan angler, an absolute boss. You know, there's actually frozen water in the shallows, so my guess is this water temp's gonna be extremely cold this morning. These bass are probably gonna be very, very sluggish right now. My assumption is that they're gonna heat up as that sun gets high in the sky, so this afternoon will probably be the best bet at catching relatively active bass, but I definitely think we'll be able to catch some this morning as well. Looks like it suspends. It's kind of interesting because it has like nose down. It might actually float just ever so slightly. I might need to like increase the size of my split rings or something just to get it to suspend a little bit better. I mean, you can't expect a $7 jerkbait to be perfect. This is one of those Berkeley cutters. And you know, most of the good jerkbaits out there are $10, $15, $20, which is, you know, it's a lot. But it's because that technology is not exactly easy. To get something to suspend perfectly in the water column and then look really natural to those fish, you know, there's a reason they cost quite a bit. I definitely think I'll catch some fish on this jerkbait. Whether it's today or a different day, doesn't really matter, but I think it's a good looking jerkbait. I've got friends back in the Ozark area where they'll get it close to their boat and then they'll do like twitches up like that. And a lot of times they say that draws a bite. Now, I personally haven't put it to work a lot, but that is one tip that you might try. Because a lot of times fish are notorious for following baits, especially stuff like jerkbaits. So they'll follow it all the way up to the boat, but then to trigger that bite, they just twitch it up once or twice. I'm gonna put the sunfish pattern down and I'm gonna start working that shad pattern. Now, as you can tell, this one has a much longer bill, so this is obviously a deeper diving jerkbait. Now, when it comes to detecting bites, I would say sometimes you'll feel like a little tink, so that's why you gotta keep that semi-slack line. But then other times when you go to jerk it, they'll just be weight, and you just gotta sweep right through them. You'll see when I eventually do catch a fish that it's all about that sweep hook set. You don't set the hook like a jig, you know, it's all about just sweeping right through them and just burying those trebles in their mouth. Keeping your rod tip low, just having that line come off at an angle, you'll be able to detect bites, but then you'll also have room to sweep through those fish and make sure you're getting a good hook set in them. Is that a fish? That's a fish. He's not fighting worth a hoot, but it's a fish. All right, we're on the board. Deep jerkbait worked. Took a little while. He kind of swiped at it, so I'm not 100% sure whether he likes this color or not, but good news is we caught a fish. Man, he did not fight at all. I incorporated some pretty long pauses on that one, anywhere from like 8 to 12 seconds, I would say. Just a little chunk. I'll take it, man. We're on the board. So I just basically did 2 to 3 jerks and I paused it anywhere from 8 to 12 seconds. I honestly was questioning whether it was even a fish. I thought it might have been vegetation. That's probably a good sign that these fish are not going to be super active. Now the hard part. Usually once I catch a fish, I get excited and I start working my stuff too fast. So I just have to have a lot of discipline here. That is one of my biggest tips. If you want to be a good jerkbait fisherman, you got to have discipline. And that's why I don't consider myself like a good jerkbait fisherman. I consider myself an okay jerkbait fisherman because I always lose my discipline. I start working my stuff way too fast. I'm kind of ticking the grass a little bit more than I'd like to. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to a little bit shallower diving jerkbait. I'm gonna throw this Lucky Strike. It's like a knockoff Mega Bass. It's like a pro blue color, which is a really, really good color, especially for water like this. Bluebird skies, it's kind of translucent. It's a shad pattern. Obviously, we've seen that they're willing to hit the shad pattern. Ah, shoot. I just realized I wasn't recording. I caught a fish maybe 15 inches and he smoked it. That's the first time that's happened in a long time. I used to be an amateur and, you know, forget that my GoPro wasn't recording, but now I'm pretty good about it. Well, I screwed up. I caught my biggest fish yet. Nothing huge, but it was a really nice jerkbait bite. I twitched it a couple times around a weed edge and he popped it as soon as I was done twitching it. Nice little fish, but what can you do? This is just not my day when it comes to being, you know, a YouTuber, because I can't seem to catch fish while I'm recording. But I was just like, Tyler, I'm gonna make one cast with my donkey tail and I'm not gonna record and I'm gonna catch a fish. I dead stick it for a second by a dock, exactly where I told him to cast, by the way. Sorry, Tyler, but you screwed up. And boom, little dink, nothing big, but donkey tail to the dome piece. See you, buddy. This is still a little chungus. He's fighting though, look at that. Yes, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and switch up jerkbaits, and I'm between two options. I've got this I'm a Flit, which I've historically had a lot of luck with, this particular jerkbait. But then the other one I've got is this Lucky Craft, and this color is just dynamite. They call it Bone Pro Blue. All the different manufacturers have different names for it, but that little chartreuse belly just adds a little bit of flash, but it's translucent on the sides, and it just looks like a shad. You know what? I convinced myself. I'm going with the Lucky Craft. On their packaging, they say this thing's a slow sinker. Well, I just watched it float right up. I guess this is a good lesson. It claims to be a slow sinker. So I was hoping that it would just drop really, really slow. Well, after working it, and this is fluorocarbon, this is not monofilament. I've been working it and I noticed that it's a slow floater. And so the way that I could change that potentially is A, I could add like a lead strip to the bottom or like suspend dots. So basically it's like a sticky piece of lead. B, you could upsize the treble hooks to something that weighs a little bit more. C, you could upsize the split rings, or a combination of all three. I don't have any with me because I was not thinking ahead. I probably need to add one little suspend dot on there, and my guess is that's gonna make this thing suspend. I'm not saying that I won't catch fish on it. It's still good, it has a great action, but I'm kind of disappointed that they claim that it's a slow sinker when I rig it up on fluorocarbon and it floats. It makes no sense to me. Okay, so it's down there about a foot. Now watch. Wait for it. Wait for it, it's coming. And there it is, right on the surface. Okay, so we just made moves and I'm on this big long tapering point, but it's got a good big drop off on it with some good vegetation. I went ahead and switched out that Lucky Craft because it kept floating, and I rigged up a Rapala ripstop. Now this is a really light, small jerkbait. This is only a 1/4 ounce, so I might have a little bit of a challenge throwing it, but I'm excited to try it out. This suspends quite well, it looks like. Here I go again, switching jerkbaits yet again. This is it, baby. Despite the challenging day, I still believe we're gonna turn it around very shortly. One thing I do know about these Imas is they actually suspend right out of the box. How about an update? I tell you what, literally, my camera dies, and what do you know? I caught 2 crappie in 2 casts. One of them was really nice. I got pictures, I got a little bit of video on my phone. Look at this, a freaking slab. It's the size of my face. But ultimately, I'm stoked. I mean, even though the bass are not really cooperating today, at least we found some crappie. I don't know, today's kind of just weird. It's like, I think I could make the fish eat a jerkbait, but I just haven't been able to find that right combination. I haven't been able to find the color that they really want to commit to, and I haven't really found the location that they're really aggressive in. It seems like these bass are pretty lockjaw right now, and that's to be expected this time of year. I mean, it can be hit or miss. Sometimes you get out there and they're really trying to fire up that metabolism, starting to eat a little bit, and other times you get out there and it's just really hard to make them eat. But I'm gonna go back over here where those crappie were and see if I can catch another one of those. Hopefully I can catch one with the camera on, but it doesn't seem to be working today. Whenever I turn on the camera, the fish just stop biting. What can you do? What can you do? Based on my graph, I believe this is where I got bit before drifting off the spot. I'm seeing the suspended marks out here. I feel like I'm in the right spot. There he is. I knew it. I knew that was the cast, and it's a slab. It's a slab. Not near as big as the last one, but it's another crappie. There we go. See you, buddy. Let's just try to hold on this position. It seems like they're kind of in this one spot, and the wind keeps trying to do me dirty. There's another. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be another slab, dude. Oh my gosh. Guys. And maybe it's a bad. Oh, King Kong. King Kong. Guys, maybe I should use my net. My gosh. Yes. People, I've got 4 crappie right here, and they're freaking donkeys. Pin the tail on the donkey. Look at the mouth on this fish. Like, just freaking gorgeous. I know that you're here for jerkbait bass fishing, but guess what? Bonus slab. See you, buddy. Oh, Ethan's happy. Ethan is very happy. Couple things that I'm gonna eventually invest in. I'm gonna get a couple buoys and I'm gonna have them in my kayak, especially when I have my ultralight gear, you know, when I'm fishing for panfish and whatnot. And I probably need to just keep a stringer or something with me at all times as well, because times like this, when you're catching these kinds of slabs, man, that'd be a great thing to throw in the freezer. My dad's gonna be watching this and be like, gosh dang it, Ethan, another opportunity missed. Another opportunity missed, son. This is a good crappie spot. There's one. Oh my gosh, I was getting ready to reel it up. This could be a bass. That is a bass. Yeah, that did not feel at all like a crappie. I love him. Look at him. He's a little chungus. Okay, so I just pedaled back with Tyler to the ramp. He has to leave, but I'm gonna go catch back up with Dave, and I'm gonna get back to bass fishing. To be completely honest, I only have a little bit of time left in my battery for my camera, so who knows, this video might be only another 5 minutes. But at the end of the day, today did not go at all like I expected it to go. I was planning on catching like 10 to 12 fish on the jerkbait, no problem, and then catching some fish on the Ned rig, but the bass have really just been pretty slow. I've caught some fish, and I'm happy about it, but what's ultimately been the highlight of today is catching some freaking slab crappie. That was awesome. There he is. That was such a perfect jerkbait bite. Thank goodness. I loved every second of that. Oh my gosh. Worked hard for this fish. Worked hard for this little guy. Golly, it's been a while since my last jerkbait bite. That was epic. That's the exact bite that I was hoping to record all day. Chunky little bass. I tell you what though, that bite felt absolutely great. Let's go. That was like your traditional jerkbait bite. It just went, like my line just very lightly moved and I could just feel a slight tick, and then I just swept through them. That was the bite I was looking to get all day. I had one earlier just like that, but that one wasn't on camera, unfortunately. Okay, I tell you what, today's been a lot of fun, but I gotta be honest with you, I literally burned through all the batteries on my GoPro. I'm not sure what happened, but I feel like I need to buy a couple more batteries because those things are toast. But that's okay, I honestly need to get going here shortly anyways. But there's totally a couple major learnings from this trip. Number one, I was stupid and I came out way too early in the day. The sun is now high and the fish are about to turn on heavy, but I came out at 8 a.m. and the water was super cold, and that was a mistake. So if you want to increase your odds in the early spring, fish during the heat of the day. Trust me, just do it. Don't be like me. The second learning is that this little lure right here was what I should have been throwing the whole time, because as soon as my GoPro died, I caught 4 fish on this, 3-4 fish on this, and I missed another one, and it all happened very fast. And I'm pretty darn sure if I was to keep fishing with this for the next hour or two, I'd probably catch several more. But hey, I mean, these are just little learning moments, right? You know, I'm just easing back into spring. I'm getting excited to fish, and I just wanted to get out here at 8 a.m. It was the wrong move. I should have thrown this the whole time. Life goes on. I can't claim to be the perfect fisherman. I make mistakes. But hopefully you're gonna learn from my mistakes so that way you can catch more fish. Also, as of right now, you know how I said I was gonna test the braid to a fluorocarbon leader for jerkbaits? So far, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's okay, it's fine, but this braid has been giving me a headache. I am rambling. I gotta get back to the boat ramp, load up this big old kayak, and I gotta get home. I'm very hungry. I had a bowl of cereal this morning, but I'm really hungry. I feel like I need a sandwich. I need something. Ooh, I've got leftover lasagna in the fridge. That's what I'm having. We'll catch you next time.